We are at war with an enemy we can't see. A brutal conspiracy of assassinations, kidnappings, bombings, hijackings, and mass murder.
Soon, but this is my family. I left the church about 1.5 years ago, and they've all disconnected from me. So I'm hoping to be reconnected. I escaped there, basically, after like 8 years of cruel labor and yeah, all that stuff. So I'm hoping to be reconnected with my family.
So you've read all the stories about what Scientology does to people, and you can verify that that stuff actually happens?
Not every single thing. I never witnessed like physical abuse, but the emotional abuse, definitely. The separating of families, absolutely. I mean, I am like evidence proof enough, you know what I'm saying? So yeah.
All right, thank you.
Okay. That was good.
Who in your family is still in the church?
My sister right here. She's in the building that we're going to go to next. Her name's Kelly Zachs. She's in Wise International, I think, last I knew. So I'm hoping that'll be enough of a security risk that they'll have to offload her, get rid of her, you know, and then I'll be reconnected. That's what I'm hoping.
But they're so vengeful, they will never do that, just to spite you.
I know, but they've done it before, so I'm just going to keep going. I'm never going to stop until she's, you know, out and reconnected. Yeah, and I'm pregnant right now too, and I left a message on my mom's machine telling her, and she never answered me.
So you mean to tell me she's missing meeting her grandchild?
That's right. That's right.
How did you feel about that?
Terrible. Absolutely terrible. Like, that's the time in your life where you need your mother the most.
Right.
I don't know what I'm doing. I've never done this. It's scary, and she won't answer my calls.
When was the last time you talked to her?
I ran into her at a restaurant in Burbank about 4 months ago, and she didn't even recognize me, which was really heartbreaking because it hasn't been that long. And she came out and talked to me, but all she would tell me is that she wouldn't say anything. How are you doing? All she would say is, you need to come back into Scientology.
Why did she stop talking to you?
Because my sister's still in, all of my family, my aunts, my uncles, my grandma. So she would have to choose between me or the entire rest of her family. So that's a hard decision to make.
Yes, but what was the reason that she doesn't talk to you anymore? What was your crime?
Because I was declared a suppressive person because in October, when was it, 2006, I left the church and I didn't want to go back to route out the way they want you to, because there was about 50 other people on those lines and they had been there for a year, and I didn't want to do that. So because of that, I'm labeled a suppressive person.
I see. You mean to tell me because you refuse to do all those, how did you say, end of endless confessionals?
Yes.
I see, and they want you to tell all your quote-unquote crimes.
Yeah, which I'd already been doing for since I've been there. That's all I ever did was tell confessionals. So you know, it's hard to you start making up crimes, you know, because you don't have any more, and then you feel like you're a bad person because you don't feel like you're doing anything wrong, but they insist you're doing something wrong, and it's really messes with your mind.
Yes, I understand.
Yeah.
Were you part of the C organization?
Yeah, for 8 years.
I see. And how much were you paid a week?
It varies. There are some times I wasn't paid at all because they didn't have enough money. There are some times I was paid half pay because I was in trouble.
But what is
half pay? Is $25.
So full pay would be $50
a week.
That means something like $7 a day?
Yeah. And I was getting 5 hours of sleep, so the amount of hours I was working.
Were you being properly fed and well rested?
No, but that was my choice because the food they serve there is disgusting, so I would rather not eat it.
Now let me ask you another question. Did they pay for your Social Security in case of your retirement?
No.
Did they pay any health insurance for you, dental insurance?
No.
If you suffer an accident, who would pay for that?
They try to get you on workman's compensation so that they don't have to pay for it. Or they send you to the cheapest, most disgusting hospital in Los Angeles to wait for 5 hours. And they would tell you to go to the emergency room and you know, make it sound like an emergency.
You mean to tell me this is a tax-exempt organization which is using taxpayers' money to take care of the health of their own members? Are you telling me that David Miscavige, who is the chairman of the board, is not paying for any health or dental insurance?
Not that I know of. Not that I know of. I never got any, you know.
So what happens when a person gets 80 years old and cannot work anymore? What do they do?
I don't know. That was a major problem in there when I was there. They didn't know what to do with all the old people. So I don't know what they're doing with them these days.
Did you finish high school?
Nope.
What happened? Weren't you supposed to be in school as a minor?
Yeah, I was, and They took me to take my GED. I was 16, so I took my GED, and that was enough.
Was it?
Yeah.
That was enough for them.
That was enough for them. My mom wasn't very happy about it, but my mom got basically forced into letting me join.
So what kind of training do you have to handle life?
I guess it's the hard knocks from being in there. I mean, that's what I would say.
I see. But nothing else that your parents did never bother for you to have any sort of formal education in case you wanted
No, but I wouldn't say that's my parents' fault because they didn't want me to join the Sea Org when I was 16. They got forced into signing my contract
Explain
and letting
that
me
to
go.
us. How does that happen?
My mom and dad did not want to sign my contract, and the recruiters summoned them to ethics with an official HCO golden paper that said they have to come in. And my mom was, put on the meter for confessionals. She was talked to for hours on end until she signed.
So I heard that if the parents don't let their children join the Sea Org, they get expelled, or they get declared suppressive person, which will be like the equivalent of being a criminal, no? And then
I don't know of any examples of them being declared, but they definitely get into ethics trouble for sure. They're not allowed. I wasn't allowed to proceed on my courses, because I had backed out of signing in the beginning. I had backed out of joining. They wouldn't let me continue on my courses. They just sent me to ethics until I changed my mind.
How long were you in Scientology?
I was born in Scientology.
No, how long were you in the Sea Org?
Since 1998 to 2006.
That's 8-9 years?
That's right, a long time.
All right, so you practically grew up in the Sea Org.
Yeah.
Did anybody from the Sea Org that were your friends came and say, we give you support, we have compassion for you? There's a thing called the way to happiness that says treat others as you wish to be treated yourself. Has anybody came and applied that?
No. They would if they knew I was doing bad, they would just tell the ethics officer, and then, I would have to go in for more confessionals. I didn't really get any compassion because you're not supposed to tell anybody.
I see. Were you aware that this policy letter
I had
existed?
no idea, and that's like a godsend to me.
Yes.
For now.
Did you know that Ron Hubbard canceled this connection?
Yeah, I didn't know that, but it makes sense because it never made sense to me why they would do this. They treat me like I'm a murderer or something. All I did was leave an organization I did not want to be a part of, and I have to be treated like a murderer,
Well, those people are criminals by not applying their own policies of their own religion.
Yeah.
There is another policy letter that is called PTS Type A. You know that one?
Yeah.
It doesn't say anywhere that you disconnect from your family or parents.
Right.
It says to handle.
Right, and it makes sense. I mean,
To not
that makes
create
sense. So
antagonists.
obviously the people running the church right now are not applying what LRH wants.
No, of course. Thank you.
yeah.
Thank you very much.
Okay, you're welcome.